Becky, it's Granny. I was just wondering if you're coming over tonight. Talk to you later. Bye.
Keep going with your story about the beach.
And then on Sundays, as soon as we got home from church, off came our church clothes and on went our bathing suits.
You went all the way from Mays Landing to the beach?
Huh?
You went all the way from Mays Landing to the beach?
No, I lived here. I lived here for about 60 years.
I meant when you were a kid.
When I was a kid, before, when I was a kid, every once in a while my father would treat us. And my mother would make a big picnic lunch. And my dad would take us to Ocean City. And we could go in swimming for a while and everything. And then my father would go and find a nice place that was shady and park, and we would have a picnic. And I used to get mosquito bites real bad. So they found out that if they took us to the beach and I got the salt water on my legs, they healed up real fast.
Do you know what it is, Iva?
It's a bunny rabbit.
Yeah, do you know what it's made out of?
Huh?
Do you know what it's made out of?
Yeah, but I can't think of it right now. Why, did they have it over there?
Mm-hmm. I got it in Nassau.
Uh-huh.
It's cut out marble.
Yeah. Yeah. It was around Christmas.
It was Christmas Day.
When was their birthday?
It was on Christmas Day.
Well, even the day before Christmas, things were a little bit different around the house. Because my mother, had all of us at home. Back then, you didn't go to the hospital and be pampered. But anyway, seems to me like the day they was born, it was a Sunday. I don't know why. Maybe I just associated Christmas as being on a Sunday. I don't know. But anyway, they were born. One of them was born.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor said to my father, he said, it's Christmas. He said, I'm going to go home and have my Christmas dinner. He said, I'll be back because you're going to have another one.
And your mom didn't know?
Well, I don't think they knew.
Oh, yeah, they didn't know yet.
Now, whether they knew after she went into labor, I'm not sure.
They probably knew after the first one came out. And he said, surprise! So after the twins were born, the doctor called your Aunt Kate, who was supposed to come down and...
My father called Aunt Kate.
Oh, your dad called Aunt Kate.
Yeah, and told her, get on the bus, come on down, I'll meet you. The babies are here. We got twins.
You're probably like, what?
And that's what happened. She came down and she stayed for a few days. Took care of my mother, because my mother was in bed for twins, right?
Mm-hmm. And there was you. And then how many brothers? Like 3 already?
And everything worked out.
How many brothers did you have at that time?
I had 3 brothers. Wait a minute. The twins. There was Gerald, Harold, and Evie.
You were 4.
And then there was me.
And then the twins?
And then the twins.
And she had more after that? Like 6 more or something? I don't know.
We got along.
That's 6 more.
We were company to each other, and we all had our
4 more after that.
And it was a happy life anyway.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ida. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
We went to Atlantic City. Oh, my mother took us to the Steel Pier.
Mm-hmm.
That was like an amusement thing. And they had a horse that would dive in the water. And my mother showed us that. And I forget, there was different things, you know. We walked around and all, and then we got the train back to Mays Landing. But, oh, my mom packed a big picnic lunch. And that's what I say, you know. My mother did a lot of nice things, even though we're all of us kids.
Mm-hmm.
And she had to wash on a scrubbing board. She had to wring everything out by hand. She never had a washing machine until my brother Jack was born. And there was Jack, and after Jack, there was Wilson.
And Dot was born before Jack, right?
Dot was born.
So it was the twins, then Dot, then Jack, then Wilson, then George.
And we all had our chores. We all had to jump in and help, which never hurt us. In the summertime, it would be late later, and we were allowed to go out after supper on the back street, and we would play games. The other kids would come, you know, like three. One would say, be in charge, and they'd say, we had teams, and they'd say, take 3 feet. So we would jump 3 feet, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mother, may I?
I forget how the game went, but.
Mother, may I? Excuse you.
Feels better.
I'm recording you right now, Iva.
No, I had a very happy childhood.
Doesn't even notice.
And I look back, every year when school, at the end of the school year, we had a school picnic. You know, for all the 8 grades.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom would pick back a big lunch and everything. And it would be up at Lake Lenape. And we'd all sit on the table. You know, they had all these picnic tables, and everybody from the school would be there, from the little ones to the ones in 8th grade. My mother would pack a nice lunch and everything.
All right, go ahead. She's demonstrating how to do curling in the Olympics. Her favorite sport.
I'm done. Well, what happened? My dad would take us up to the skating rink and let us out. And he would say, he knew what time the skate was over. He says, you know, take your skates off, and you know, because you rented the skates. As we got older, we had our own skates. And he said, I'll be out here waiting for you. Well, my sisters, the twins, they went off with their boyfriends. But they were back before my father come to pick us up.
And where were you?
They were altogether different than me. I was goody-goodies. What do they call it?
Goody two-shoes.
Yeah.
And you still are.
But then, you know,
Haven't
they
changed.
smoked. They didn't drink. But they smoked, and oh no. As soon as they got in the rig, my father left, out they were with their boyfriends.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Luke. Happy birthday to you. Oh, Lord.
And may you have many more happy ones. Who left?
No, it's Luke's birthday.
It's Luke's birthday. It's okay. This.
She was
It's okay.
dead serious, too.
I just made your day older.
Charlie, you're only 29 today, okay?
I'll take it. I'll be 29.
Oh, my gosh.
29 years ago.
What are you saying?
People were going to the shipyard because they made, ships for the war.
Mm-hmm.
They were, and there was 3 other girls that they picked up along the way that worked at Kimball Glass at 16. I only worked on weekends and holidays when school was, because I was in high school. And then, of course, on the weekend. And they would drop us off in Richland, and we would sit there in Richland until the Kimball Glass bus came along, and they would take us to Kimball Glass. We would work till 12 o'clock. The bus would be out there, and the bus would bring us home at 16. And my father said, now that you're working and you get a paycheck, he said, I want you to join the credit union. So the credit union, at Kimball Glass, they took it right out of your check every week. And that's how I started saving. And my dad said to me, you need a new winter coat because your winter coat isn't going to be sufficient for you for this winter. He said, you can save enough money to get a new winter coat, and you have to and I want you to give your mother, I forget how much, towards the food for the table. And that's what I did. And when I got married, I paid for my gown, your Aunt Lydia's gown, and your Aunt Bert's gown.
Are you gonna get your phone?
Huh?
Are you gonna get your phone?
I didn't hear it ring.
I was waiting to see if you would. Say hello, Iva.
Hello, Iva.
No, just say hello.
Hello.
Anything you want to say for yourself?
You get prettier as you get older.
Oh, yeah, I'll remember that. Oh. Hold on, say that again. Who were you talking about?
My sister,
Yeah, which one? Okay.
Dorothy.
Yeah.
I think she passed away. You didn't know her, did you?
No.
No. She would have loved you. She had 3 cesareans. Plus, when she was in high school, well, her and I shared a bedroom,
Mhm.
and the twins, they shared a bedroom. And one night, she woke me up and she said, Ida, she says, please lay still. Please don't move. She says, every time you move, she says, I get a terrific pain. Here she had appendicitis. So the next morning, she went to school on the bus and everything. She got to school. They called the ambulance and rushed her to the hospital. At that time, it was all the way to, she was, in high school in Egg Harbor, and they took her to, it was Newcomb Hospital then in Vineland. And she had an operation. She had the appendix removed.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, when she got married and everything, she had 3 cesareans.
Mm-hmm.
So no wonder she died young.
That doesn't, that has nothing to do with
Well,
having cesarean sections.
Oh. She had cancer.
Yeah,
She had cancer.
that can happen at any age.
And her and I were really buddies.
I know, she was your closest
And
sibling.
I missed her so much. When she was sick, on my days off, I would go pick her up and take her wherever she wanted to go. And I'll never forget one day, we were in Ocean City. I don't know why, but we were coming home. And we looked up, and here was this big plane flying over. And we both looked at it, until it disappeared. And I said to her, Dot, wouldn't it be wonderful if when we were on that plane and we were going someplace special, we were gonna, and she said, no, I don't want to do that. She said, I'm happy just where I am and what I'm doing. I thought that was so nice.
That's the right attitude to have. She was smart.
And I was with her too when she passed away. You never seen the house where she lived, did you?
No.
The water and Mace Landing.
No.
I was sitting there feeding her Jello. She wouldn't eat. And broke my heart when she died. Celebrated, appreciated, treasured, and loved. Oh, that's beautiful.
We'll see you back, Ops.
Nice try, you're my bride.
For being a gift to our family, and for everything special you are. Happy birthday with love. Becky, glad you are with us another year. Hope this next one is wonderful.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Pass that one on to Kenzie. She can check it out on our way back. Also,
I was in church, the Presbyterian church.
Mm-hmm.
Sis Canary was with me. That was one of my girlfriends
Mm-hmm.
that lived, down the street from us. And for choir practice, they took us up for the choir practice. And Sis was in the choir too. And we come out of church, and we're standing on the sidewalk waiting for Poppy.
You mean your dad?
For Daddy to come.
Yeah.
And we were on the sidewalk in front of the church.
Mm-hmm.
And this car drove up. And it was Poppy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know him, but Sis knew him. So she introduced me.
Did she date him?
Huh?
Did she date him? Is that how she knew him?
No,
Oh.
they were,
I just wanted to make sure you didn't double cross your friend. That's all.
no.
Okay.
No.
Okay, that's good to know.
Anyway, she had a couple brothers, and they were friends with Poppy. So he pulled over because he recognized Sis, and they were talking, and she introduced me. And she lived down the street from the big house, down the street on Route 50 on the corner house.
So your friend knew Poppy's friends.
So anyway,
Okay. He pulled up.
She said we're waiting,
Mhm.
So he said he would take us home. So he did. And I got out at Sis's house. And one word led on to another. And then he started taking me out and everything.
So, what about your wedding to Poppy? Do you remember more of that?
Yeah, I remember. My
Your-
girlfriend from high school was the maid of honor.
Uh-huh.
And the twins were bridesmaids.
Mm-hmm.
And after the wedding, I always regretted that I didn't have my sister Donna's. And I did pay for the brides, for the maid of honor's gown.
Mm-hmm.
But I paid for the twins' gown. And Edna made the flower girl's gown.
Mm-hmm. That's Geraldine.
Geraldine.
I forget who
paid
the
for- I paid
not
for the
flower boy,
twins'
the ring bearer
gowns.
was.
That's why I say I worked and I paid for a lot of things.
All right, so where'd you have the wedding? What?
Oh, we had the wedding the week after Easter,
Where?
the 19th.
Where, though?
Oh, the Methodist Church at Mays Landing.
Oh, geez, you met him at the Presbyterian church, but
Well,
you
no.
married him at the Methodist.
I don't know, but I went to the Methodist church, but I went to the Presbyterian church for the choir.
I don't know, and
Or
they're
maybe
still
you-
right next to each other competing, so
Yeah,
geez.
Maybe because that's where
You were just sowing seeds everywhere.
Maybe that was because that's where Catherine Canary went, and she invited me to come join the choir because they needed more voices. I don't remember all that.
So you married him at the Methodist church, and then where did you have your reception?
At home, my mother did all the cooking, and I helped pay for it. It was a cold lunch she fixed.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the cheese and everything,
Mhm.
yeah. And it was real nice. You never saw those pictures?
I've seen the pictures. I was just asking you, what the wedding
Yeah.
entailed and all that, the details.
Yeah.
What about your honeymoon?
We went to Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
I had never been there
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't have money. The class that I graduated from high school, the class trip was to Washington, D.C., but we had to pay our own way. Well, I didn't have the money. And so then when I got married, Ken was interested. He liked to travel. He liked to see
Mhm.
places. So we went to Washington, D.C. We visited all the, things that...
Museums, monuments,
And
shook the president's hand. I don't know. Maybe you had a chance. Huh? Did you tour the White House?
the cherry blossoms were blooming, and
Did you tour the White House?
the White House...
Did you tour the White House? You used to be able to do that.
No.
No. Did you see Lincoln?
I don't know if I did.
Lincoln Memorial?
Huh?
You forget.
Yeah,
the-
I see the Lincoln Memorial.
Oh, you did?
All
The
those.
Washington Monument, all those cool things. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Granny. Happy birthday to you. Gotta blow out those candles.
So you... Thank you very
You're welcome.
much.
Happy birthday.
I had a very hard birth with Unky. I went into labor, and Unky took me to the... Well,
Poppy
my brother-
took
my
you,
brother Jerry
or
lived in
somebody.
Island, so we stopped there.
Mm-hmm.
And we went on to the hospital. Because my brother Jerry got all nervous. You better get to the hospital. You better get to the hospital. And I was admitted. The doctor came and examined me. And he said to Unky.
Not Unky, Poppy. You were
he said
having
to
Unky.
Poppy, he said, she's not ready yet. He said, but she is going to have the baby. He said, what I want you to do is take her someplace where it's safe and like a road or something. He said, and let her walk. I want her to do a lot of walking. So that's what we did. And then finally, I don't know I don't remember everything.
Mm-hmm.
He took me back to the hospital. And they admitted me again. And my mother went with us. And I had to stay. And finally they left because the baby wasn't coming. So anyway, finally, I don't know how long afterwards or anything, Becky. I don't remember anything about that. Because everything was, anyway, they had to get a private nurse to come in and stay with me. And the next day, the doctor said to me, I don't remember during the labor. I don't remember. Now, I never saw Unky until he was 3 days old.
You said they knocked you out.
They knocked me out.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many stitches I had, but he couldn't be bored because the birth canal wasn't large enough. He came out head first
Oh,
with
gotcha.
his shoulders, and they couldn't do anything except let me go through labor. But then I had to get stitched up and all. And I'll tell you, Becky, they put me in a bed, of course. They pulled the sides up. They had a nurse sitting there to take care of me. I didn't know all this because they got me out. They didn't want me to move. After 3 days, my mother and Unky came in every day to see me. And I was knocked out. They kept
You
me
mean
out.
Poppy?
Poppy.
Yeah.
They kept me knocked out. And after 3 days, I guess it was the 4th day, they came in and they stood at the foot. They always stood at the foot of my bed, they said, and would talk to me. But I was out, they got me out. And I could see a blur. I could see, 2 people there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember. And they kept me 2 weeks before they released me.
They kick you out the next day now. They kick you out the next day now.
Now they do.
Yeah.
But back then you had to stay.
If you had a birth like that. Almost 65 years ago when you had my mother, what happened?
I don't remember.
Was that one that traumatic
It
too?
must have been a bit easier birth than Lucky was.
How about you? Okay. I thought though they told you after Mom, the doctor said that's it. You've had 2 kids, you're done. I remember you telling me that though. Because you having babies is a hard process.
What? I can't hear what you said.
I said, I remember you telling me that after Mom, the doctor told you no more kids. You were done
Well, then
because of it's harder for you to have a baby than some people. He said you have your boy, your girl, you have your family, you're done. What else do you do?
I say happy birthday, Iva.
Happy birthday, Iva.
You're really doing pretty good for 90.
No, it's just
You're only
pretty
90?
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Wow. I just took 3 years away from myself.
Mm-hmm.
93.
good. She uses her buggy. And she...
I wonder how old I will get.
When was the last time you...
Hopefully older than 93. What about your mom and dad's Florida house and visiting your mom and dad?
My mom and dad's what?
Their Florida house and what you did when you went to visit them.
You'll have to talk louder.
What about your mom and dad's Florida house
What about it?
and visiting them? You told me stories about how you used to go down there and visit your parents.
Yeah.
So
and we
what
would
happened?
Take them out to dinner and spend time with them,
Mm-hmm.
and they were friendly with the neighbors, and so we got friendly with the neighbors. And then when grandma and grandpa, well, I guess grandpa and the kids, my brothers, wanted them to come up here as they got older, so that they could help to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother said she wasn't coming up until the house down there was sold. So Poppy and I bought the house.
Did she move back up here?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
I thought she stayed there anyway.
No.
Oh.
No. They were pretty old, and our grandma had a stroke, and I was down there when she had this stroke. So Poppy and I, we got the ambulance and they took her to the hospital, and Poppy and I would go to see her. And so up here, they said, well, they got to come up closer where Harold and Evie and the twins and everybody could be with them to help them. And so it was arranged, and grandmom said, we said we would buy the house, so okay. So
Was that the house you had that we went to?
no. We bought their house, but it wasn't what we wanted. But we did it so that they would come back up here. And we lived in it for maybe a year, and looked around to buy the house that we bought.
Thank you, it's Granny. If you have a few minutes, would you give me a call? Thank you. Love you. Thank you. Bye.